Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Build the Weight Loss Practice of Your Dreams. You are in for a treat today. We are talking about a topic that, as you know, I don't talk about because it's not my favorite thing, but I found somebody who's really good at it and can share a lot of great information with us. So her name is Jessica Ruhl, and I have known her for a few months, but I've been so impressed. She is the CEO of NuClient, and she's also, just for fun, a past Mrs. Illinois. So just a little fun tip for her, but I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her background. I love the fact that, similar to me, she has a brick and mortar business, a number of them, and also does some things online, but she's going to share some great things that I get asked about all the time. So Jessica, if you could share a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you got to where it is that you are today doing what you do, that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Jessica. I'm the CEO, like you said, of NuClient, which is a social media and lead generation company, particularly for people in the weight loss and health industry. We've been doing it for quite a while. So we've been in business probably about 8 years now. And just through the last year, I've opened up 5 of my own locations for weight loss, body contouring, and anti-aging. And so it's been fantastic. It's been a lot of work and a lot of fun, but definitely something that is a fantastic industry that I'm going to continue to deep dive into because it's just so great. You can't beat it. You really can't on all ends. So yeah, that's really what we're doing right now for sure.
Right. And you said 5 your own, and where are they located?
So we have 2 in Utah. We have 1 in California currently. We have another one in California opening in the next month, and we have 1 in Chicagoland. And so we'll be that 1 opening in California next month will be fantastic. And then we'll have 2 more opening in Utah in November.
That's awesome. Now, we want to know the details about paid marketing, because as the listeners know, I talk a lot about organic marketing. It's so funny because you and I are opposites. I love content. I love organic marketing. And I do not like paid advertising.
Yeah. We were talking about this before. I hate organic marketing. I hate it. It's just, I think, this is one of those love-hate situations, right? Like you either love it and you're great at it, or like you just hate it. I hate it. I just can't. I can't do it. It's just out of my wheelhouse. So I can't do it.
Well, one of the reasons why myself and sometimes other physicians or practice owners don't like paid advertising is because it seems like oftentimes you'll pay all this money for someone to do an advertising campaign. And what happens is your phone doesn't ring, or you don't actually get new clients, like the name of your business, but instead you just get, impressions or a certain number of sort of vanity statistics that don't really make a difference. So I really want you to share some of your tips for how you actually use paid advertising. What are the tricks of the trade that actually turn paid advertising into paying clients and new patients that we can serve?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're exactly right. So it's problematic in the industry because the industry is full of a lot of young kids in their basement doing certain things, and trying to get ads going and figure out how to get that done. And those leads don't equate to appointments. I mean, you can get all the leads in the world, but it doesn't equate to appointments. So what I found, and the reason why the business is called NuClient, is what we found was that we could get all of the patients in the world and pass them to the office, but we could not control that became an appointment. And generally, you wouldn't have anyone in the office designated to booking those appointments. You know what I mean? Like they weren't salespeople. They were normally front office staff that were front office for a reason, right? They wanted to be there. They didn't like the pressure of sales. So that's a difference between, giving a basketball to an NBA player and telling him to slam dunk it as a salesperson, or giving the basketball to like me and telling me to slam dunk it with no experience. Yeah, you're going to have 0 ROI on that because that whole thing wasn't completed, right? The whole strategy wasn't completed. And so in full disclosure, when we started the business, we were, 8 years ago when paid was new, we were generating leads, and then here's your Google sheet.
Yeah.
Like, good luck. And then when they're saying, hey, we're paying you all this money, because the ad spend alone is not cheap, and we're not getting appointments, that's tough. So we figured out a couple things. One, you need to generate the leads. And in the weight loss and body contouring space, it's tough. It really is, because there's that very fine line of what's acceptable and what isn't. And that is a line that's always moving and changing. And you could get shut down tomorrow for what was acceptable last week, So that, it's a, a line that's hard to keep up with. And so if you're running your own business, you shouldn't spend all your time doing that. I mean, that's just the reality. You would be wasting your money. And then so we figured out how to do that. We have contacts within all of these social media organizations and Google that keep us updated before it even comes out of what's happening, what the changes are. And then if an algorithm shuts us down, we're able to call in and they switch it back on within like 30 minutes. But then the differentiator then was, okay, we have these leads. You have to be able to close the lead. And to give that to the offices to close that lead, it was too much up in the air. A lot of times in your clinic, you're not sitting in front of a computer all day. If you are sitting in front of a computer all day, you are not making money, right? So that's a bad sign. So what we figured out was, okay, could we get an incentivized sales team that was 100% commission, and they would get paid on the appointments that they made, and they were sales people. So salespeople, as you know, are out there hunting all the time. They're cold calling all day long and doing all these different things. Well, if all they have to do is call on a lead that has expressed interest, and they have to follow up with them 8 to 12 times and talk to them and do all those things, a lot easier than cold calling all day long to people that express no interest, right?
Right.
So that's a differentiator, is when we figured that out, to train people on how to make those appointments and then put them directly on our office's calendar, then the only job for the office then from paid advertising is to take that lead and sell them, right? And that's really what you want from paid advertising. That's not generally what you get. And so by creating that next piece, that's like, I really don't want anyone touching anything until they show up, let us do this. And then we could qualify and say, okay, from what you're spending with us, I can guarantee you X amount of appointments. That then gives you, as a clinic owner, a lot more peace of mind. And so once, in NuClient, we were able to figure that out and figure out that system. And I saw I could get X amount of people in the door every single month. And that then, learning how to sell those people, it made no sense for me not to invest my own money into it, right? Because anti-aging, weight loss, health is so huge right now, especially after COVID. The key factor to all of it is, can you get people through the door? And so once we knew we could get people through the door, I'm like, forget it. I'm going to invest in it all, because it's such a fantastic industry. And I think that's where that differentiator and where that missing piece is nobody's selling them, nobody's trained on it. And the people that oftentimes the offices are giving it to are either not interested at all, the front office, or if it's outsourced, it's from, to India or, the Philippines or something like that they can't even take payments or qualify it either. And so I think that's the key there, and why, a lot of people don't like to invest in it, because they can't qualify, that amount of money that they're making back.
And you've even taken it a step further in terms of taking the team at the practice and doing some sales training with them for what to do with this person who still is pretty much a cold lead walking through your door, to really warm them up. I know we do a lot of that in our practice, and we're used to doing it a lot with weight loss surgery and medical weight loss, and we've added some other revenue streams, and it's not always easy, not something everyone likes to do, because as clinicians, we don't like being salesy, We just wanted to come in ready. So
no, 100%. And that sales piece, especially if it's a cash practice, there is a different sales component. Now, I was really, really lucky to have run the marketing for hundreds of clinics throughout the US and Canada, that I saw our best performers and what they were doing. And it was very similar in all the things that they were doing and the way they were doing their sales process. So then by taking all of that and putting it into one system, testing it in my own clinics, documenting it, now I can, give it to all of our clients, because like, even if I'm bringing you patients and we're bringing 20 in the door or one new every single day, and you're selling 0, I am a liability, right? Not
Right.
an asset, which means I'm out the door. So luckily, with our business as it is, our goals are aligned. We all want the same thing, which is for the clinics to make money, because if the clinics make money, I keep my job. So I'm going to do everything I can, aside from walking in there and selling it myself, to make sure you make money.
Yeah. I like also the fact that as I've talked with you, and I don't like you when you work with someone who's not really hard sales. I think you're also able, because you provide some services, you're also able to kind of take that hard sales and soften it so that you really do have the best interest of the patient at heart, because you're committed and you want them to do well. So it's not just a sale to you. I can tell it's also, really doing the right thing for the patient, getting them in the door, showing the benefits, and then really getting them a great outcome.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because think about it. We live in a society right now where no one goes anywhere. And we talk about this all the time. You and I do, Karol, where like, you don't even like go to the grocery store, right? You're ordering everything online. Tonight, guarantee you I'm gonna Grubhub, like we're just busy. We don't want to leave, we don't want to do anything. And Amazon, like, boxes up to here every day. So if you're in a situation where somebody has shown interest online, they put their information in, they've talked to our people, we track them down, they finally talked to our people, they prepaid for that appointment, they've shown up for their appointment, that's an indicator to you that they want to help themselves and they want something from you. And so that those are efforts that were made that, okay, 15 years ago, if those efforts were made, it wouldn't be as important, as an impactful, and as telling as it is today, right? So because of that, I know if someone's coming into us and showing up, they really want help, right? They want help for themselves. They just want a better quality of life, and they're hoping you can help them. So then your job is to help them and help them get out of their own way. Because the reality with health and with weight loss and everything else, if they don't take care of it today, it will not get better. It will be compoundly worse in a year. And then they're going to come back with even more steps that they need to take, right? So then we're sitting here like, I can help you. We know we can help you. Let's talk about this. Okay, what is it that you're afraid of? Whether they say it's money or other things like that, it never is. Do you think this is going to work for you? Have you tried everything up to this point? And that's where I feel like why I love this industry so much, is because it truly does change people's lives, not only like their physical and health, but like their mental and then their quality of life. So if you feel good about yourself and you don't feel like you're a prisoner of your own body, you then everything of your day is better. You just enjoy your life more. And how simple is that to help them get out of their own way? They're already coming to you wanting something, It's different than like selling a car, that's not going to change your life, but like, what I mean? But the pure joy people have leaving you, knowing that you can help them, I don't know, it's just really rewarding. And that's why I feel very fortunate to be in this industry, as I'm sure everybody else does as well,
Right. Well, now I want you to spill a little bit of information about the different platforms that are out there. So I'd like to know, can you share like the platforms that you're using and which ones you find to be the most successful in terms of advertising when it comes to social media and that sort of thing?
So a lot of that is dependent on who your audience is. So for me personally, I like to target women and men that are 40 and older, simply because these type of things that we offer are a lot more beneficial for them. as you're aging, as your bodies are different, you just need supplemental help, and you just go through that change of life, and just things are going on. So I personally like to do that. I also feel that a lot of the cosmetic and weight loss is generally advertised to a younger population, which I don't understand why. If you see any of the marketing out there, it's like a 19-year-old girl that looks amazing going like, like, like what? None of that makes sense to me. So because of that, because we're going for an older population, we tend to stay on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Those are the ones that we've found that do really well in providing information. And then there's a trust factor that's there. If you're going for a younger population, obviously you're going to hit up, Twitter and TikTok and some of these other ones that I haven't invested. I haven't seen a great ROI in it. And also when we're looking at ROI, we're looking at the revenue coming into the clinic at the end of the month. So that's generally what I do personally. Yeah.
Yeah. I know sometimes I'll work with different groups and they're spending a lot of money just on AdWords and, other things like that, because the algorithms are frustrating for social media, but still you're getting good results on social media, obviously.
There's a difference. So AdWords and Google is more for like pull marketing. So pull marketing is when somebody is looking up and they're searching for something and you tend to pop up because they're already looking. So you're pulling them in from them already searching. Those tend to be more expensive because they're a lot more targeted in that way. And then those people that are searching those things are price shopping. So they're going to compare you to everyone else. Social media is the first type of marketing ever in existence that has push-pull marketing, right? Push is, you're in marketing, push is like billboards, radio ads, TV. I'm going to push my information out there. Pull marketing is pulling their information back to you. Social media is the only one in existence, as it is now, that will push information out, and you can pull the information from that potential client in with simultaneously, right? So because of that, we like to use that a lot, where we disrupt the people. They may have searched something, a day or two ago about weight loss or whatever. Well, we're going to push it out. They're not looking for us. We'll pull in their information, and then we're going to follow up with them and talk to them to increase that trust factor for each of our clients. And that's why it is powerful, because those people are buying on emotion. Those people are not buying on research, and they're not price shopping. So if you can get them immediately as they're coming in, they're not going to spend a ton of time trying to research every other clinic in your area. If you can get them, give them an irresistible offer, and they're walking in your door, then that's an easier sale than somebody that is price shopping.
Right. Makes total sense. And I assume like retargeting and all that sort of thing is, of course, a part of the whole strategy. Yeah, it was amazing to me too, because I know most practices, especially when you talk about the front desk, we don't have the time. Well, I guess sometimes in a variety of ways we make a lot of touch points, but really your average is about 8 to 12 touch points. Is that correct?
And that's on the low end.
That's some patience right there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we try to get everybody as soon as they sign up. And oftentimes, if they never respond to it, we just figure they want us to talk to them later, right? They're busy with their kids, they're driving, whatever. I know I'm that way. If they say, no, then that's a no. If they say yes, they're in your clinic. Otherwise, we're not giving up on you. So there are people this month particularly that signed up as leads back last year, December, and are coming in now because we kept following up with them. So if you're giving us your info, we're not giving up on you.
Yeah. Unless you say no, and then I respect that. Once there's a no, it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Don't mean no, as my mom always said.
Right. Can you share a little bit about it's changing all the time, any little bit about trends that you see happening that have been occurring, whether it's related to any aspect of the whole sales process or marketing?
Yeah, definitely. So everything is becoming more relationship based. And that's why having that sales team is so important, because people will put their information in, but they're not going to purchase anything unless you're talking to them, where before, people were just buying whatever. So people are a little bit more wanting to talk to someone, wanting to feel like they're important, wanting to know like that they're important, and their money, and them as a patient is important. And so taking that amount of time is important to do. Organic, like you said, is becoming more and more important, which is why you and I are going to be a superhero team.
Right. I love
creating content, that people can go back and consume, and that they can gain that trust level is even more important. Story videos, really important, those sort of things. Again, the strategy for a local business versus a national one is different. So, what I do is I tell our clients, like, what we do should not be your end all be all. We are a portion of your marketing strategy, right? But we are not your entire marketing strategy. If I can bring you 20 people a month, that's a portion of your strategy. You need to dominate your entire space of your local community. You should be everywhere, like Geico, right? Nobody knows where they heard of Geico. They just know Geico, right? You can't pinpoint it to a place. And so if you're a local business, definitely be dominating that space for sure.
Right. I love the fact that paid advertising is one thing, and then really that organic, getting in front of different audiences, making sure that you're in front of them and you're showcasing all the success stories. I mean,
yeah,
I do think that sometimes, and I'm sure you do too, how people come in, they'll say like, I swear, I think I see you everywhere. And right. And I don't even do that much paid, but it's one of those things where when you really work at it and you're consistent, you can really have a huge impact and really help them in a much deeper way, for sure, with that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with YouTube, like creating YouTube videos, and I know like organic videos are really important, because once they get on that roll of watching one for information, then there's another, then there's another, then there's another, and it just keeps going, and they want to know more and more and more. And by the time they finish consuming all of that, they're already sold. They're coming into you, and then your job is to not mess it up.
Yeah, and sometimes they just come in like, here it is. I already know what I want to do. I already know all your services. This is the one that I think is, right for me or whatnot, or they have a consult, but it's a much easier conversation. It's so much more comfortable and patient-centered, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where that organic information is so important. Like what I do, I start the conversation, I can get them in the door. But if you have a fantastic organic presence, if you have videos and information that, as for me, if I could send that to the patients for you, the sale is easy. They're walking in the door already knowing what's going on, who you are, they trust you, So that end portion is what really seals the deal for the trust. And then they're walking in and it's creating exactly what, most people want, which is, here's my money, and then that's really all you have to do. So both of those aspects are super, super important. And if you're leaving one on the table, you're just not making the revenue you could.
Right. And I don't mean to backtrack here a minute, but I was looking through, as you and I have talked, and your background is, it has a lot of depth to it in terms of working with not-for-profit and other different entities and groups. So how do you think that has influenced what you do today?
So I guess I would say about 10 years ago, I just was going through like a really difficult space. Mm-hmm. And I became a single mom around 2014. So I had 3 really young little kids. And I was able to, I became a single mom, but I had no money. I had been a stay-at-home mom up to that point. Mm-hmm. No money, nothing. And we were so poor that my son and I, he was 12 at the time, we were going through and like picking up metal out of people's garbages to sell. And I'm like trying to sell all this information, anything out of my house to just pay, because my house was in foreclosure. And I had the opportunity, Facebook was new, but it was too personal. I knew too many people. So I went on Twitter and started tweeting about what I was learning. And I had like 5 100 followers or something, not that much. And a man named Sean Gardner contacted me, and he said, hey, I like what you have to say. I think more people need to hear it. So I'm going to teach you how to navigate social media. And he was Forbes #1 social media influencer for that year. So it was definitely something I was blessed with. So he teaches me how to navigate all social media. And all of a sudden, I've got 20,000 followers and then 30,000. It just kept growing and growing. And then Huffington Post contacted me and was like, hey, we talked to Sean and we see what you're doing. We'd really like for you to contribute to like these columns, about women. And then I had a publisher contact me and say, hey, I'm writing this book called 20 Beautiful Women, and I really like for you to contribute to it. Well, I did. And I co-authored this book, and it became a bestseller in 2015. And BuzzFeed named it #2 for, inspiring women. It just kind of exploded from social media. And here I am in my house on my phone, poor, like about to lose my house, these things happening. So I got a job. I got a job selling for the Yellow Pages. Fine. So I interviewed for jobs for 2 years, could not get a job. I had no experience, luckily I went to college, but I was out of the workforce for 2 years or 10 years or however long. And finally got a job selling for the Yellow Pages, which was dying at the time. But when I was going to sell a lot of these businesses, they were like, hey, we really need social media. And so the Yellow Pages wasn't offering that. So I asked my manager, hey, can I offer this as a side thing, social media, because I know how to help them, And he said, yeah, it's fine. It's not a conflict of interest. Well, that started to grow. And that's how I was able to work with a lot of different people, because I'm going there to sell them the Yellow Pages, and they're saying, hey, we'll buy this, but we need social media. So I'm working with a lot of different things, nonprofits. I'm working with car dealerships. I'm working with insurance. I'm working with the mayor of our town, doing all these different things. And I did that from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And worked my full-time job. So I did that for 2 years while raising these 3 little kids. Like, it was crazy.
Jessica.
It was great, like so crazy. And so, it got to the point where this, side business of social media was outperforming my day job in sales. And so that's how I was able to take that jump, into what I'm doing now. And then I started working with people that were in the weight loss space. And we found that we could figure out how to get a lot of these things approved that most people couldn't, right? So if you could get it through the red tape, there's no competition. Nobody could figure it out.
That's why we all hate pay. That's why I just like pay, because it'll be running for 5 months and you're like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah, exactly. So that's part took off. So I could, we've been doing all this other stuff. And then I'm thinking, okay, we figured this out. And all of a sudden the leads are coming in, people are paying and doing all this different stuff. And we're passing these off to our clients. And so we just deep dived into that weight loss space. And then we integrated having the inside sales team, which helped everybody. And then through COVID, our clients made more money through COVID than pre-COVID. So through the shutdown, because a lot of them were essential businesses, they stayed open and their revenue doubled while everyone else was drowning. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, this is crazy. I need to invest in this, So that's why last August, our first clinic opened. And, being on the back end of everything, being very, very fortunate. I feel so blessed to be in this industry and in this place. I just feel like, I don't know, there's a purpose to it. It's more than just revenue and numbers and all of that. And so seeing that and being able to see what was going on around the country, being able to see how many people were benefited positively because, through COVID, you had to sit at home. You had to sit in your reality, which is home improvement and self-improvement went through skyrocketing, because these people, like, for the first time, you're sitting in your house and sitting in your body, and you can't be distracted from it. And so you saw this massive shift, to improving people. And so I just feel super fortunate to be involved in it. And had I not experienced those things, I think I wouldn't like take it. I don't know. It's a lot more meaningful to me
Yeah.
than it would normally.
Thank you for sharing that. That is very inspirational. A couple other takeaways from that, just the fact that you never stopped. And in all of our conversations, it's like you have this unwavering faith that maybe grew stronger through all that. And we won't talk about it here, but we've talked a bit about parenting. I have 4 kids. You have a lot. You have 6 now, but yeah, it's like, taking some of those life lessons and being able to instill it into our children so that they know that we are resilient people, and you have to take control, and it's all about choices and taking ownership for your life. I really admire that about you. So
I appreciate that a
I'm
lot.
sorry you had to go through it, but it's really an inspirational story, and I'm so glad that you shared it. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I wouldn't change anything just because I'm such a different person now, and when you're a parent, as like there isn't anything you wouldn't do. So when success is the only option, that's what you do. You figure it out. Like, you're not going to allow your kids to starve, so
Right.
you work a lot harder than you would because it's a purpose bigger than yourself. And I think that equates to a lot of these people coming into our clinics. They are parents, they are examples to their families, they are doing these things. And so, like, getting your health in order is so important, because your family's watching you, so I don't know, I just love it.
Yeah, right. Well, and sometimes when you're working really hard like that, like I remember going back to work 2 days after our 4th, just because we were getting ready to open a practice. So, but you obviously, you can lose sight of taking care of yourself easily. And I know a lot of the people that listen to this podcast are really hard workers. They are driven, they're entrepreneurs, their minds are always going. Sometimes we put ourselves last, but obviously, you take good care of yourself. And can you share just a little health tip for people too, since we're sort of in this field, something you do for yourself that you think really makes a difference?
Yeah. So I was super fortunate to have a mom that always took care of herself. Like, she exercised and she'd get ready for the day, even if it took half hour or whatever. She never seemed to run down. And she would always tell me, like, it's almost like oxygen when you're in an airplane and it's going down. Like, you have to put the oxygen on yourself, then you put the oxygen on the person next to you. And so if you don't have enough for yourself, there's no way you can give what you could to the people that rely on you. And by, always filling up my own cup and making sure things are okay, I then have more to give other people. And so I was lucky to have that lesson early on. And obviously you have too, because you're gorgeous.
Oh, you're so kind.
Really put together.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for me, like, daily exercise is super important.
Yeah.
Making sure that you take out that time. And if I don't do it first thing in the morning, it's not happening. And having that routine. I'm reading every day. I read a lot. I'm eating healthy, the things that are good for my brain. As I've gotten older, I feel is even more and more important. So brain health, meditation, all of those things to make sure I'm firing on all cylinders. There's no way to maximize your life if you are not firing on all cylinders within yourself. And so, I'm sure I could do better. It's not like I don't eat cake and sit in bed and binge Netflix on occasion.
Guilty.
But for the most part, just trying to live a good, healthy, balanced life. You only have one life. And as an entrepreneur, you're super lucky to be a creator. Like, you get to create things that were never in existence before. And the only way that you can be the best for yourself, the best for your team, especially all these people that rely on their income, is on you and their families, is if you've taken the time to really relax, make good decisions that are done from a place of peace, and continue to move forward. And so, I feel an obligation to make sure I'm at my best, so that everybody else can then, have the best for their own lives. But
Right.
yeah, that's really it.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And sometimes it's hard to take time for yourself, but you feel so much better, obviously, when you do. So that's
Yeah,
great.
even if it's just an hour a day, right? An hour of just self-care in the morning, then your whole day is so much better.
Yeah, and even if you're pressed in the morning, I think just still taking whatever time it is you can get, you can do.
Yeah.
You can get your heart rate up in 10 minutes. Just, I mean, it's not as quite as
Exactly.
great, but it's still something that you do for yourself and makes you feel better. So
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, for sure.
So any other special tips for paid marketing that you wanted to share? And I also wanted you to let people know sort of how to reach out to you if they wanted to, and how to find out more about you and your services.
Yeah, definitely. So paid marketing, definitely, I would do your research. Not all companies are the same. There are a lot of great ones out there, but there are a lot of difficult ones as well. So if you're going forward, if you're going to do it yourself, I don't recommend doing it yourself if it is going to be, a big portion of your business. There's so many things that you have to work on in your business, and to defer things to experts is important in anything, whether it's, finances or other things you're just not good at, defer them out. But make sure when you're talking to the right people, look at the contracts and that they are something that you feel is fair. You want somebody and people that are aligned in your interests and different things that you want to do. And like I said, have a whole strategy as well. I've been super fortunate to talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and very successful entrepreneurs. I've made it my mission as soon as I was going to own my own business to talk to as many people as I could that were smarter than me. If I'm the smartest person in the room, like, I don't know, I'm wasting my time. So, and all of them have the same answer, which is, if you see something's working, deep dive into it, go into it, and then don't be afraid to pivot. So they've told me something that's really, really stuck with me for a long time, that there are 3 types of people in the world. The first one is the people that create change. The second one are people that adapt to change. And the third are people that resist change. The people that make the most money are the most successful are the ones that are driving change. They're creating new things, they're doing new things. The next ones that are successful and doing well are the ones that adapt to it quickly. And the ones that are left behind are the ones that are resisting and are frustrated. And so if especially like with marketing and social media, it's inevitable. I mean, if you're not embracing it all, you're behind, right? It's been around for like a decade, and it's going to get more and more and more in that way. And so embrace it, and listening to your podcast, obviously they're looking at these different things. Find a good network and find people on your team that you can trust that are keeping up with those things that are happening. Otherwise you're going to be left behind and you're always going to be struggling to dig out. And, and that's, as an entrepreneur, not where you want to be. That's not why you went into entrepreneurship, right? You're on the cutting edge of creation. So, that's been great. And if anything, beyond just marketing advice, I would say is deep dive into things that work and pivot quickly, for sure.
Yeah. That's great advice. I mean, don't you wish, like, when you were first starting out, somebody probably would have told you that, kind of learned some of that the hard way. It's like,
plenty of that the hard way.
Yeah, I like to hold on to it. Just like you invest in something, you hold on to it. You're like, I could have just pivoted earlier, and it would have been, So anyhow, gosh, lots of great information. Thank you so much. So let us know your website, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so actually I can give you, I'll give you my business number. So just so people can reach out to me directly. I'd love to talk to anybody, even if they're not looking and, starting, just having conversations about that. I love to learn from people for sure. So my phone number is 630-803-7439. And then my email is jessica@NuClient.com, and I'll send that to you as well. So reaching out to me directly, we can just talk and see, even if it's not something that we can help you with right now. I'm just happy to have conversations for sure.
Yeah, because I think one of the other differentiators is the fact that you do really guarantee a certain number of people being, coming through the practice every week. So,
Yeah,
so which is a big difference than like you're gonna have so many likes or impressions or some other vanity
yeah.
statistics, so to speak. So
I don't know. I think for, you always put yourself in the position of the people you're working with. And even before I opened my clinic, I would want to know if what I was investing in was going to, yield results. And that's not quantifiable, in terms of that. So I knew if we could get one new patient a day, then that that's worth it. And generally in marketing, for every dollar you invest, you want 3 back. So if we were to get 20 people in and you invested, 3,000 with us, pretty easy to make 9,000, like that's, so we could beat the general statistic from those numbers. And so that's something that's been important. And now opening my own clinics, I wouldn't open my own clinics if I didn't know that we could deliver what we could deliver. And so that's why you feel comfortable doing it. And I feel like entrepreneurs and clinic owners deserve that. And you're not dumb. That's what, you're smart. So like, okay, I'm spending this money for like an impression. Like you could be sending that impression to India. Like, who knows what that is?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate the integrity for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're like me, I'm kind of a numbers girl. It's like if you're not getting a return on investment, then let's stop and figure something better out, so
yeah, exactly. And you take risks as an entrepreneur. That's just part of it. You win some, you lose some. But you want to take calculated risks. And so by offering a guarantee, it's a little bit more calculated from the standpoint of the owners.
Yeah, right. Well, I know I'm excited to have a new colleague and friend in the paid advertising area. I could help create videos all day long and content, but you've got that other part totally going on. And congratulations for all your success.
Thank you. And vice versa. I hate content. It's so time consuming. Like it's hard, so really glad to
it's a good little relationship. All right. Anything else? I'm trying to think.
No,
I think we've covered all the questions that I had come in about the topic.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, for NuClient, it's actually NU, right? NU.
NU-CLIENT.
Yeah. Okay. Jessica at NuClient. All right, very good. Well, it has been a pleasure. The time has just flown by. I'm so excited, and I know we'll be having more discussions here in the near future. And I really thank you for your time to share your expertise, and congratulations again on all your success.
Thank you. You as well. Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay. If you are not subscribed to this podcast, please subscribe. And if you're not a member of Bariatric Business Boss, you might want to consider joining that too, bariatricbusinessboss.com. It's an easy membership, great way to work together. And we deep dive on lots of topics. So, and who knows, maybe I'll have Jessica do some training in there too. You never know. So anyhow, everybody, in the meantime, continue doing that great job improving the health of your community and have a great day. Thanks again, Jessica.
Thank you.